Sim Racing Hub enters its 11th season, 20 rounds. Who will win tonight? It's Thursday night! One, two, three, 4, 5 lights. And we're racing in Suzuka. Last chance at Hungary.
No way. No way. Oh my god. He spun. Fisher is going slow. Did he run out of fuel?
Is Ricardo Sr. gonna get a point? This is why you love P11, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. Battle for the podium, back and forth. Oh, here comes Montero again. Oh, they're in the wall. Hello, everybody, or as we should say in Britain, hello. We are at Silverstone for round 9 of the 2026 Sim Racing Hub World Championship. It's a sunny day in Silverstone, which already is somewhat unrealistic. 32 degrees in the new European summer heat that we have going on in the world. I am Matt Hartley, and doing the cameras here today is Janos Magasrevi. We are at round 9. Which is the British Grand Prix, the last round in the first half of the calendar. Next race is going to be at, well, one or two people's favorite circuit, Spa. So don't miss that one on July 23rd. But it's Thursday night, and we are at Silverstone. We're taking a look here at the Valley turn 1. We are about to go into qualifying, I believe, pretty soon. Thank you for joining us here tonight, this evening. We will do a good job of making this race as entertaining as possible. Usually a good race around Silverstone. The racing action on the circuit should do most of its job for us. Janos is, well, his camera is frozen currently. So we're going to stick on this one screenshot as we get everything set up here tonight. A lot on his shoulders, of course, being also the director in the league. We are getting things ready for qualifying. I see some notes right here. We are waiting people to rejoin after the server has restarted. So we'll give everybody a fighting chance here. We want everybody to have a chance of getting pole position. Although it'll probably just go to Argenis Riera. He's not, however, the winner last time out. Josh Mills, coming off of the great win in round 8 in Austria. Surprised a few people, but Josh broke up Riera's winning streak and got back onto the top step of the podium. He's had some really good pace, so we should see, of course, at least a 2-horse race here today between Riera and Mills. Zika Montero, though, needs to get back on the top step of the podium. Hasn't done it in a while. He's got the pace. We've seen him in qualifying look very, very quick, but we've also seen him go into the wall quite a few times. We actually saw Montero upside down in qualifying last time, so that was quite entertaining. Let's see if he can go ahead and beat that again. And then also we have a few dark horses. We have Richard Walcott, the first of 1 Bermudans, returning to the field here tonight in the Williams. He's usually there to pick up the scraps and pieces that any of the front 3 leave behind. We also have Corey Mackey back in the championship. He's taking over for Matt Harto, who is not racing here tonight. So we'll see if the Maxter can return to his usual top pace form. A few other fast finishers we saw last time out. You know, Darren Fisher is always somebody they want to keep an eye on. It's not difficult to keep an eye on him because he's in a bright green Stake Sauber car. Pretty easy to tell. Bill Worrell coming off of his best finish as well last time out. And here we go. We are ready for qualifying. It is dark. No, it's light again. It's light again. We're okay. So we have 20 seconds to go in qualifying. And we will see who's going to be the first man out onto the circuit. Will it be Argenis Riera? We will have to wait and see. We can't quite see yet. I think the cameras will be up and running now. Janos is ready to go. And we're ready for qualifying for the Sim Racing Hub Championship at Silverstone. We're on board. This will be Mills. It's a gaggle of cars at the front. You can see Riera is actually not one of the top cars at all. So maybe he's stopped trying to even be one of the top cars. Not so much worry here about getting out in front with traffic. It's a very long circuit, so lots of time and space in order to get your lap in. So it looks like it's a Kick Sauber in front of us. It might be Fischer. As we can see now, a first look at which drivers will be racing here tonight. So we'll take a quick look. So Jeff Oppenheim returning to the series. So that's very exciting to have him back on the grid. We have Mitsalis, Worrell, Montero, Acosta, Cardozo is back in the championship as well. Senior Mills, Higgins, Kovacic, Rabi, Lalanset, Fischer, Riera, Orrego, and Mackie, as we talked about already. Mackey's still in the pits. I believe that Corey Mackey has a 5 grid spot penalty. So as Mills, you can see, starting to space out here going into Stowe Corner. Famous corner, of course, where Michael Schumacher broke his leg. Unfortunately, going into the gravel trap there, which recently has been obviously updated with a runoff area. We're hoping for no broken legs here tonight. But we will have some broken hearts. Will it be from Josh Mills? As we haven't given ourselves tons of space. Just enough. We're going to go into Valley Corner. Oh, using all the runoff flat. 8th gear. Heavy braking all the way down into 3rd. Now down into 2nd. Then back into 2nd again. You can't go into 1st because you'll never get the power down coming out of this corner. As we go into the Wellington straight. 7th gear. 300 kilometers an hour into 8th gear. Got to throw the car into the left of qualifying. You can see a turn right there from Mills as the back end didn't, just screaming at him, trying to turn to the left so much. Around Luffield corner, and then here we go into the famous Cops corner. Let's have a listen. Not sure if there was a slight lift or not. It sounded like it, but it could have just been the tires squeezing off through Beckett's, but you can see he's already catching up traffic. Not at the best spot. He might get a little bit of a tow. I don't think the driver's going to give him any helping hand there, though. Gets out of the way. All drivers are on circuit. Into Stowe corner. Throws it in. That was beautifully done. Rabi's fastest currently with 127.1. You can see Mills is much quicker than the Sauber car. So he's caught him up. Don't think he'll get too much aero wash there. Mills were 25.5. Fischer did not have a good lap. That is true. Here comes Corey Mackey. P20 right now, just starting his lap. Montero, a second away from Mills. He had a terrible start. As you can look at the pole sitters, Riera, and the only guy to beat Riera to pole in the last 5 years is the guy on the cameras, Janos Bakasrevi. So Riera looks like a lock here tonight. Oh, bit of understeer there from Mackey. Hartol want Mackey to bring that car home in one piece here today. Really screaming the revs in the gears. Downshifting a lot. Mills still a full second ahead of anybody else. That's incredible. Now there goes Riera, 1/10 off. You can see Corey Mackey still purple in the first sector. Green in the second sector. Corey's coming up to try to challenge Mills and Riera for pole. Through the last couple corners at Vale. And here goes Mackey. He's P3. A full 7/10 of a second off Mills. What a lap from Josh Mills. We were on board with it. It looked a little loose, but it was fast. No doubt about that. Riera now will be on his cool-down lap, so let's go through the first lot of standings. Walcott's still yet to put a lap in. Cooper goes up to 7. Cooper's back in the series. It's great to see. I believe he's got a new rig too. New setup. So Mills, Riera, Mackey, Kovacic, Montero, Ravi, Cooper, Sanabria, Fisher, and Lalancette is your top 10 so far. Only one qualifying session, of course. These drivers don't need to get through in the top 10 for a knockout. Wherever you qualify is where you'll start. Unless you're Corey Mackey, of course, because I believe he has a grid spot penalty. What is Riera doing here? That was very interesting. Killed the engine, it sounded like. Oh, Montero. Oh, guys are getting way out of the way here. What are we doing here? What is going on? That's not how you get out of the way of a faster car. It creates a yellow, but hopefully the game doesn't penalize people for going fast under the yellow. Walcott's still yet to put a lap in. Okozo, Cardozo, and Oppenheim all yet to put a lap in. As all of the front runners go out for one more attempt. I think they'll only get one more attempt. It's such a long circuit here. Long out lap. We've got a yellow in sector 1. That could be guys just getting out of the way, going off circuit. Here is Cooper. Home Grand Prix, of course, for Glenn Cooper. And Lalancette. Acosta and Harto both got penalties for the last race. Time penalties, though, I believe. I don't think that they have grid penalty. Maybe Acosta does. Acosta's opting to not put a lap in so far. We'll have to keep an eye on Walcott, too. We expect him to jump into the top 10 at some point. He's not put a lap in yet. Kovacic ahead of Montero in P4. Look at that. As we go on board with Montero, needs to find a second. Easy flat. 312. Heavy braking. Oh! Tons of understeer, but look how early he can get on the throttle. The rear end traction from this car is incredible. Goes down the Wellington straight. He had understeer for days, but it just didn't matter getting on the power. And purple! That is what we're looking at. Fantastic corner there. Here we go around the Luffield Brooklyn section. Into Cop's corner. Can we keep this momentum up for Montero? Easy flat around Cop's, and that car's looking stable at high speed. Montero's going to be a threat here today. Wow! Look at the grip! Look at the grip! Oh, this car is set up. This car is set up for a lap. We're 1/10 down in the middle sector. What is the final sector going to be like? It should be good. Oh, no! A double turn in. He blew it at Stowe. I would have thought the traction would have been really good around these last two corners. Would have been a threat. But Stowe didn't work out. Interesting that Montero is still going to finish the lap and not bail. Montero does get a banker at P3, but he could have bailed and gone into the pits straight away and done another lap. Will Riera keep this roll going? That's wide. That's wild. That's over. He was 2/10 up in the first sector, but that's surely over now. Yeah, he has no chance. I mean, I say no chance. He'll probably still put in the the third fastest lap time, but he has to have lost a ton of time with that slide and having to lift a little bit. It felt like on the exit there. And a lift, heavy lift. You know what? Montero's car feels much stronger than Riera's does through that section. Riera's is fast. Actually, Riera didn't lose. I don't know how he only lost 1/10 of a second to himself in the middle sector. He would still need a bit of a miracle to put this on pole with that huge moment. Penultimate corner. Using the curb on the exit. Guns the power on the boost. Riera doesn't get it. Mackey P5 starting his lap. Walcott did jump into P9. Fisher's jumped up. He's into P6. Acosta is into P4. Here goes Mackey using all of the curbs. onto the straight, through the gears. 7, 8, let's listen round cops again. Wow, full commit. Even, he's a 10th up, purple, sector 1. Oh, a triple downshift in the middle of Beckett's. That is, the engine's not going to like him for that one. Mackie is driving every inch out of this car. Green in the middle sector. Not purple, but he might be a threat for Riera. It looked a little steady around Stowe. Final 2 corners. Clean. Early on the power from Mackie and the drive to the line. Corey Mackie. Will he stay in 3rd? He will get back to 3rd, yes. Montero drops back down to 4th. Acosta 5th. But it looks like Josh Mills. Yes, Josh Mills will get pole position and break Riera's streak at Silverstone. Here's Walcott. He's purple in Sector 1. Mills' Sector 1 is very beatable, but his other sectors were just so strong. Here's the smooth style of Walcott. Just going to try and get as much out of that car as possible. Where will he jump in? He's definitely a threat to overtake Montero in P4. But he's half a second down in the middle sector compared to Mills. So I don't think so. No, Walcott's going to actually just bail on this one. Very quick in the first sector, but Mills, pole position at Silverstone. Looks like, is Sergio on a lap? He may be on a lap, maybe on an out lap. Drivers, of course, can still finish the lap even though the checkers are out. Most of the front runners were on, kind of already on their in laps here. Rabi and Orego just missed out on the top 10. Cooper gets into the top 10 in his home Grand Prix. Ferrari looked very quick last time out. Kovacic does get himself a nice P7 starting spot currently. Sergio will be disappointed down in 14th. Can he improve? He's going to get a little bit of a slipstream here. Is he on an out lap? Well, he's got his DRS open, so I'm assuming Sergio here is on a hot lap. No, he just wants to get really quickly into the pits. So there we have it. Exciting qualifying. We're on for a good race here today. Montero's car is much quicker than that time. I promise you that. Watching that car on board, unless he's got way too much wing on, in which case he's just going to be a sitting duck down the straights. We'll keep an eye on his straight line speed, but that car looks immense. That was a huge moment that he had, and he managed to keep it out of the wall. Josh Mills, 25.5, the best lap of the day. Genis Riera, 25.7. Corey Mackie, the last guy in the 25s for Williams. Gets them a great starting position, though, as a substitute driver. Montero, P4. Acosta, P5. Fisher, Swishfish, P6. Kovacic, 7. Alejandro Sanabria, P8. Walcott was P9. Cooper, 10. Rabi and Orego, the two McLarens, right, only 1/10 away from each other. Jacopo Cardozo is in the Haas. Sturgio and Senior, 14-15. Jean-Pierre Lanisset, 16. Bill Worrell, all the way down in 17th. What is going on there? Sean Higgins, 18. Tony Metsalis, 19. And Jeff Oppenheim, the Oppenheimer, deciding not to participate in the qualifying session for the Visa Scam car. We will go into the warm-up, which will allow me to eat my banana. We'll see if anybody's on the live stream. No comments yet here today. If you have joined us, thank you for doing that. Like and subscribe. I'm sure Janos will put up the graphic at some point. Janos is not standing alone anymore as the only man to beat Argenis Riera to pole at Silverstone. Josh Mills has that honor, and Mills' pace is just looking electric this time of year. My setup is ready to go and ready to roll. This looks like a fun little sprint race here. It's just a warm-up. We can see... Oh, there's a... we got a car off in the grass. We've got guys trying to overtake. Be very interesting to see. Mills, we would think, will get the jump at the start, but can Riera stay close enough around those first two corners in order to get a run down the Wellington Straight? We know you can't really overtake into Copse. You can try, but it usually ends up in Max Verstappen being in the tyre barrier. So I wouldn't recommend it. Guys getting out of the way, of course. This is Josh Mills. He's just got that car set up perfectly because Mills, of course, the beginning of the season, it was his qualifying pace that just wasn't really up to par. And recently, he's picked that up, and we always know that in the race, he's incredibly skilled. So here we go. Mills with that 25 points last round extends his lead in the championship. 162 over 136, a two-horse race in the championship with Montero. Too many zeros. 3 zeros so far for Montero. Walcott somehow is in P4, even though with the run of 4 straight great results. Cooper, P5. He's not been in a couple races, and he's still in P5. Sanabria 6. Lalenset 7. Arrego 8. Jacobo Cardozo is in P9. Matt Harto rounding out the top 10 in the Williams is in P10. In 6 points out last time round. But you can see really anything apart from the front 2, and then Montero's pretty much got third decided because his pace is just too strong. 4th place completely up for grabs. Walcott clearly got the talent to do it. Probably has the talent and the ability to challenge the top 3. But unfortunately, life, children, availability, work, all these things getting in the way. We will take a look at the Constructors' Championship. Red Bull Racing are leading, with Lalenset getting some strong points as well with Mills. Aston Martin P2. Senior off the snide though, he's on the board. Mercedes Petronas are right behind Aston Martin. They overtook them last round. Williams look like they're in for a solid 4th place here. Mackey's got some good pace filling in for Harto. Alpine on their own in 5th. McLaren behind them on their own in 6th. 7th, 8th, and 9th, all very close together though. Sauber, Ferrari, and Haas. And the Visa Cash App team, they are at the bottom, but they have 14 points. So you can see how competitive this season has been. Probably one of the more competitive seasons we've seen so far. It doesn't look like it when you see Riera with all these wins and Mills, pulling out front. But honestly, here today, you could see five drivers probably winning. I think Walcott's a little bit too far back, though, so maybe let's drop that down to 4. Acosta is very good around this circuit, but, he's had a hard time of really putting it together. I wouldn't put him in the win threat here today. So it's really a Mills, Riera, Montero show with Mackie as the complete unknown. Just haven't seen him a lot this year, but we know from historical accuracy that he's very, very quick. If we can just have a nice, calm drive, I think Mackie could find himself, in and around there. We have 30 seconds to go. McLaren, a home Grand Prix for that team, but neither of the drivers. It's only Cooper, I believe, this will be the home Grand Prix for, because Harto's not here. So it'll just be Glenn Cooper that everybody will be cheering for. The British, maybe he's Canadian, he might have citizenship, I believe so. He's British-Canadian living in Saskatchewan. It still counts. Obviously difficult for drivers that, to race at Sim Racing Hub that live in Europe because of the time difference. These races are at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Which is, 3 in the morning or something like that in Europe. I think, Mitsalis in Greece is definitely, even Sergio, I believe, actually in Greece. It's difficult for them, and we appreciate any time that they do race with us. We will get everything ready. Janos will reset the grid. We will see Does Mackie have a penalty lurking from the last race? He qualified obviously P3, but he might be dropping himself down the order, which unfortunately would put him right in the danger zone, in the collision danger zone, which is basically anything after P5 all the way till P18. If you can get a top 4 start, you're usually pretty safe from any shenanigans. As we saw in Austria, there was a big crash at the first turn from a mistake from Sergio. Here we go, Josh Mills. We will check on the tires, but not yet, because we know R Factor has tricked us before on which compounds to start with. We're expecting a 1 or 2 stop race here today. I don't think anything will be needed more than that. We're on the harder compound tires. So Josh Mills ahead of Argenis Riera on the front row. First and second in the championship. Then third in the championship is Montero. And there is the missing Corey Mackey. He will be further down the order in P8 with the 5 grid spot penalty. Acosta moves up to 4. Fisher 5. Kovacic still very strong performance for him in 6. Sanabria in and around there in 7th. Walcott, the first of 1. Bermudans in the field for Williams. Glenn Cooper, the hometown hero. And the 2 McLarens, 11th and 12th, of Rabi and Arrego. Jacopo Cardozo returned to the series in P13 alongside Soteris Sergio. Ricardo Senior in the second Aston Martin needs some points always every race. JPL all the way down in 16th. Also probably maybe with a penalty. Bill Worrell 17th. Sean Higgins 18th. Tony Mitsalis and Jeff Oppenheim rounding out the field. So Oppenheim decided not to participate in qualifying, but he will give the race a go. And why not? It's such a fun track to drive. There could be lots of attrition here today. Not from the tires, but, you know, drivers are driving so fast around these turns. Very easy to lose control. And usually, if you do, you end up in the wall. It's very hard to have a small accident at Silverstone. You're just going too quickly. So I do see Mills on the reds. I'll start to make a use of the tires right here. He's looks like he is on the red tires. It looks like Riera is joining him on the reds. As we said, the wear here is quite low, so no great surprise that the softs are an option. I think the hards will easily go 30 laps. So the soft tires, you're probably looking at about 15, which is probably 2-stop strategy. But remember, at Silverstone, you do cut the last 2 corners out by pitting, as you can see on the left-hand side there. So might be a smarter move to do a 2-stop versus a 1-stop. We already know that Cooper is doing a 1-stop. we can go ahead and make a guess on that one. I would guess he's on the hard tires, as we will see the drivers line up on the grid for round 9 of the Sim Racing Hub World Championship from Silverstone, UK, the British Grand Prix. Who will take the iconic golden trophy? We wait for Jim to wave the flag. And we wait for the lights. Sim Racing Hub on Thursday night. 2, 3, 4, 5 lights. Oh, and a quick light sequence. We're racing already at Silverstone. You can see some tires squeal, but it looks like Mills is going to hold off Riera, who falls into second place. Montero's in third. There's already drivers spinning around. Oh, and I think that was a Williams. That looked like it could have been Walcott. Maybe Mackey. That's Sanabria. Sanabria's off. We've got another driver facing the wrong way. There's lots of carnage going on in the middle of the field. We will have to keep an eye on who has lost place, as we see Riera not able to make a pass going to Wellington Straight. So it was Kovacic. It was Walcott who got caught up in that first turn incident. Higgins. Oppenheim is still at the bottom. Mitsalis Senior all the way up to P7. He's the big mover after lap 1. Walcott really the big loser of the big fish at turn 1. Higgins is now down to 20th. He was facing the wrong way, I think, at some point. Fisher's up to 6, his teammate. As we see Mills, Riera, Montero starting to pull away already from Acosta. Mackey, though, made 3 spaces, and he's up to P5. He needs to clear Acosta very quickly, and then Mackey could end up keeping onto this front train. Now, Acosta has been pretty slow on the straights most of the season, probably running too much wing. We will see if he's fixed that here today. If he can keep up with this front group, Acosta is pretty handy around this circuit. So we see Mills leading lap 1. Riera's actually coming under pressure a little bit from Montero. There is Mackie in 5th. Fisher Senior Rabi, 6, 7, and 8. Cooper moved up 1 spot. That was the missing spot from Walcott, of course. So pretty even the gap. 0.6 of a second to Mills, 0.7 of a second to Montero. You'll see the wings starting to open of DRS. There is a DRS zone down the Wellington Straight. Also one down the Hangar Straight. So Higgins, Walcott, and Kovacic all pitted. They're in the pits right now, actually. They're going to be so far behind. Such a shame. Especially for Walcott and the Williams. And Kovacic, actually. He qualified ahead of Walcott. That was a disaster for him. That's probably where the carnage kind of happened. Now you can see Montero starting to pull away just a little bit from Acosta, but Riera catching up Mills. Will Josh Mills be able to hold him off? It's all going to be about boost regeneration here. Lots of places to lift and coast, however, in order to regenerate the battery. Beckett's chicane is a good one. Going into Stowe is a good one. You need to be pushing that boost button down pretty much every one of these straights that you can. Otherwise, there's just no way you'll be able to hold off the driver behind. So Riera puts in the fastest lap of the race of 1:30.0. We'll have to wait to see the tires. I haven't seen the tire graphic yet, so we might have to figure it out by ourselves. We know the front guys, of course, have the soft tires on. Acosta is sticking with this front train very nicely. Mackey's actually unable to catch Acosta. O-double-T-O wants a fight here today. As we see in the pits, Jacobo Cardozo, I don't think that will be a scheduled stop. Unless he's planning on going 48 laps on the hard tires. Riera's closing in on Mills. Just ever so slightly. It's pretty much stayed 0.6 of a second, which is too far back to make a move. The driver's just such a good complex of corners. Left, right, left, right. Here's the replay of the start. So we're going to take a look here at Kovacic. Says he's P19, but he wasn't P19 when he started. So here we go. We'll see the 3 wide. He's in the middle. Oh, Mackey's on the inside. It looks like he just got into Sanabria. Oh, and then Sanabria right in front of Higgins. Disaster for Sean Higgins. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong qualifying position for him. And you can see how bent that car is. It looks so bent from here. So it looks like that's probably it was a 3 wide mistake. He was in the middle of a sandwich. Looks like a mistake probably from Kovacic. Here is Sanabria on board. We're going to see a Ferrari slide right into us. You can see the very fast light sequence. Does Sanabria move over? No, he's left quite a lot of room. Yeah, Sanabria maybe could have gone a little bit wider. And obviously then he's just a passenger to absolute chaos. It feels like a racing incident to me when you go 3 wide into turn 1. The driver on the outside needs to leave more space than that, and the driver on the inside needs to realize where he's going to end up. This is going to be, unfortunately, coin payments are about to have, I believe, a Mercedes parked right in front of them. You'll see the drivers in front. Worrell goes wide. Worrell went wide to try and avoid it all, and the carnage almost collected him out there. But he gets away with it. Such a shame for Higgins. That's pretty much his day is done, because that car looked bent. He put the hard tires on, but it's more of a hope of a miracle right now. As you can see, 0.4 of a second now, the gap. Riera and Mills up front. They're actually leaving Montero behind a little bit. Need to see what tires Montero is on. There we go. We have the tires. So, Only the front two drivers are on softs. Montero, mediums, medium, all the way until the hards at Mitsalis and Oppenheim. And even Cooper didn't put the hards on. He's going to put the hards on afterwards, I'm sure, but that makes it really easy for me to know and understand here. Everybody's on the mediums, except the front two. So these guys currently are pulling away. Don't expect the softs to drop off too drastically. You can see the understeer there from Riera. It's probably from the dirty air of Mills. Riera's used to being out front. He's more used to being the chaser than the chasee. It does make a difference when you set up the car. If you believe that you're going to have some clear air, you generally can add a little bit more wing or make the car a little bit slower in the straight, because you know you have that clean air to really launch through the corners. We'll see whether that becomes a factor or not. Acosta is dropping back from Montero. Mackie now starting to catch Acosta. Is Corey just, protecting those tires? He's really Williams' only hope for points here today, although, we've seen Walcott do stranger things before. Unfortunately, that collision, the 3 wide, happened right in front of Walcott. I don't know how Cooper avoided it. He's lost a place, by the way. Cooper's dropped down. Senior's dropping down, but he's in P10. Sergio moved up to 11. He's going backwards here. So he maybe had a bit of an issue or just struggling for some pace. Probably hasn't had too much time to practice. So the home crowd's going to need to will him on quite a lot here today. Mackie has DRS activated. Mackie and Acosta. How can we put this politely? Hopefully, early on in the race, both drivers will, work together a little bit to try and avoid the front 3 falling away. But if I was Acosta, I think P4 is probably best case scenario here today. I do think that you're racing Corey Mackie, so I don't think you should be getting out of the way. We'll see, can Corey make a clean pass here on Acosta? We want a nice, uneventful race from Acosta here today. And you can see Fisher actually holding on to the back of Mackie very, very well. 0.5 of a second. We got to keep our eye on this gap. So even, these two drivers. It's incredible how difficult it is to do this. These drivers don't share setups. They're not friends. I'm sure that they like each other, but they're competing against each other. And for both of them to start on the same tires and be this close together on different setups just shows you what sim racing is all about. The cars are all identical, of course. There's no difference in cars. That Aston Martin would not be in second place if that was the case. Here he is with the DRS open. Will he take a look? It doesn't look like he has too much straight line speed. Mills very good at defending on the boost, as is Argenis when the other way round. A bit of a gap forming between Fisher and Rabi, and a big, huge gap between Sanabria and Mitsalis. Mitsalis is on the hard tires. He's up 4 spots though for Haas. Currently, all 20 drivers still circulating the Silverstone Grand Prix. Mackie now dropped off a little bit from Acosta, so Acosta's responded. We have ourselves a fight, so Cooper is trying to claw back through the field. He's caught up Ricciardo Sr., who made that great start. But he's got Sergio right behind him as well. As we keep an eye on this front group, it's going to be 5 or 6 tenths of a second pretty much always. Rabi and Orego both had really good starts. They're up to 7th and 9th respectively. They qualified 11th and 12th right outside the top 10. So both in the points. It's a pretty nice start for the McLarens. There's a bit of a gap though to Fisher. To keep an eye on whether Rabi can catch Fisher, whether Orego can overtake Lalancette. There's a yellow in Sector 2. We will keep an eye if anybody is falling down the order or whether it was just somebody touching the grass. Looks like Higgins and Oppenheim might be fighting because they're overtaking each other on the timing sheets. Here is JPL on Aaron Rabi. Lalancette trying to claw back through the field. Been inconsistent season really for Lalancette so far. He was a passenger last time out. He got very unlucky at turn 1 and unlucky also in the pits, as did Hato. Get unlucky with Costa's incident in the pits in Austria. We just need a good result here from Lalancette. So Acosta has pulled out from Mackie, and here we see a little bit of a mistake perhaps from Mills. Now we might cover. Now this is a chance for Argenis Riera. Can he get early enough on the power? Pretty normal that you will see that pull out, and back to 0.6 of a second again. Just caught him at the wrong part of the circuit, unfortunately. Now, does Mills have enough boost to keep this up? It's all about the electrical energy, of course. You lose 3 seconds a lap if you're not pushing the boost. So, and you use more fuel. So you have to be on that boost, and you have to be very careful to not use too much. Because if you lose it, it's going to take you 2 to 3 laps to regain it. You're looking at a good loss of about 7 or 8 seconds. If you hit the 0 on the boost, that can really, really kill you around a track like this. So Montero, 3.5 seconds back. I still think he's going to be a contender in this race. That car looked really, really good in qualifying. And he's got the medium tires on, of course. These drivers on the soft tires. I wonder if Montero will try and do a one-stop. Will he try and go medium hard? And will these front drivers maybe go soft, medium, medium, or soft, medium, soft? As we have Higgins. Higgins has called it a day. Oppenheim is in the pits. Did they have a coming together maybe? Or is Higgins just decided he doesn't want to drive that dog of a car anymore? No, Oppenheim has no front wing. I would think that some shenanigans has gone on. Yet to be confirmed. Now Mills has responded and pulled out from Riera. We're just going to kind of see this go back and forth. Mackie's catching Acosta again, ever so slightly. Looking further down the order, we saw Lalancette still hasn't been able to get by Rabi. Cooper is still in P10 after overtaking Senior. Sergio will probably catch up to Senior very soon. We'll see that fight coming up. Here is Mackie and Acosta, and Mackie's going to have DRS, and he's going to have a real shot here to overtake OTTO into Abbey. And there we go, we have it. Clean as a whistle. Acosta might be starting to struggle with tyres, but pretty early if he is on those mediums. Or maybe Mackie's true pace is just really coming. He now should start to pull away from the Alpine, but OTTO, 5 would be a good finish for him. And here we have Lalancette and Rabi again, going at each other. Oh! What did we just what did we just see on board there? Full commit from Lalancette. Are we going to do a late lunge? It's a stall. Don't do that. Only thing worse than doing that is to do a late lunge here into Vale. I think this is Abbey Corner actually. Abbey and Vale. I got the corner wrong before. I do like when a track has names for corners as opposed to turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. It can get quite annoying. But the change of the Silverstone line layout, especially through the bridge corner, the old bridge corner that went underneath the bridge, that was easy enough to know, does confuse me a little bit still with the new layouts. Acosta's now going to try and stay in Mackie's DRS. We'll see whether Mackie can start to catch Montero. Montero's dropping back quite a bit from Riera. 5 seconds now the gap. So 19 cars still running. Worrell's slowly moving up the field, but certainly after his 4th place finish last time out. Doesn't look like that's going to be on the cards here today. Walcott's still down in 17th. Oh, we got a dogfight. What's going on down here? This is Worrell and Sergio. This is Worrell trying to overtake Sergio. Up the inside. Are they going to go side by side into Cup's corner? Who will lift? Oh! It was Worrell that ended up lifting in the end. Lurking behind that Ferrari. This is the great racing that you'll get at Sim Racing Hub, even in the midfield. This is incredibly difficult to do. Sanabria obviously recovering, but that car is going to be bent. Because he didn't pit. Sanabria didn't come into the pits, I don't believe. So he's going to be driving with some heavy, heavy damage in that car. He's going to have to turn off the damage when he comes to pit too. Nothing worse than accidentally leaving the damage on when you don't want to fix it. As Acosta got by Mackie. What have I been focused on? O-double-T-O got back by Corey Mackie, and now Mackie's going to... Oh, that's going to frustrate the Maxter. Here we go. Will Mackie launch at the inside of us? Yes, he will. These guys are side-by-side racing. Advantage Darren Fisher. Fisher's going to be lurking in the wings here. So we have to keep an eye on exactly how Acosta got by Mackie. Was it a mistake? They dropped off quite a bit, actually, from Montero. Yeah, good. Almost 2 seconds lost to Montero now with these guys fighting. And like I said, Fisher now within a second of Acosta. He will start to get the DRS if he can stay within that. Yep, Fisher's got his wing open. You can see the driver's starting to duck and weave. A bit of shake and bait going on, trying to break the stream. Will Fisher fancy joining this fight? Fisher's pretty much been exactly where this is most of the season, which is faster than the middle of the pack, and been unable to really jump on the back of the front pack, but this is his chance, because I genuinely think Corey Mackie has some pace in that car, which means O-double-T-O has some pace, which means Darren Fisher has some pace. Can Acosta repay the favor to Mackie down the Wellington Straight? DRS is open. So it is for Fisher. He's gaining. Fisher now gaining a little bit more. We have a yellow in Sector 2. We're looking at Sector 2 right now. So unless it was a back marker, it's going to be the front guys. So this is Worrell now attacking Senior with Sanabria right behind him. Where did Sergio go? He dropped back. 14th. He's quite a long way back here. Sergio, so maybe he had a bit of an incident. Here's Worrell at the inside of Senior. You don't want to leave your nose in there. Will he try a move right around the outside? Will he try the old duck and wind? Sanabria here might take an opportunity. Worrell should have seen that coming. Oh, that was a rookie mistake there. Trying to line up a pass on the guy in front, but he forgot about Sanabria behind. And Sanabria steals the place from Bill Worrell. Great veteran driving there from Alejandro Sanabria. That will frustrate Worrell because he knows he's faster than Senior. As we have into the pits, the leader, Josh Mills. We said they'd go 15 laps. They only made 14. Maybe it was by a choice that he wants the undercut. He put the mediums on. Mills is a 2-stop in here today. Riera now, we will say it's hammer time, but of course Mills is going to get the fresh tires. Maybe Mills has come out where there's a nice gap. That could have been by design as well. Of course, Mills didn't want to lose the lead of this race and have Riera undercut him. Riera was the first to pit last time in Austria, so maybe he was wondering if Argenis was going to do that, because it didn't look like Mills was starting to struggle for pace. So my guess is it strategic here from Josh Mills to defend that track position. As we see, that's Kovacic out of the race. So we have a Ferrari exiting the race. That's such a shame because he was so fast in qualifying. Dejan Kovacic. So fast. He's had some great pace the last few rounds, and fortunately, 0 point here today. Wallensett still behind Rabi. Arrego ahead of Cooper. That looked close. Here comes Riera. Montero, we know, will continue to circle. Wouldn't be surprised if Montero is trying a one-stop here today. You can see now no one's on the soft tires. Will Riera go softs? Maybe Riera goes soft medium? That would be a bold strategy. Acosta's in the pits on the mediums. That's never the best sign. And there is a Genis Riera, we believe, is on the softs again. Acosta in the pits. Bit disappointing, I think, for him to only go 15 on those mediums when the front two guys went 14 on the softs. So now we will see. And there's a penalty for Acosta. Oh, that's going to be speeding in the pit lane. Acosta and penalties in the pit lane need to stop happening. Oh, double pit lane, no. Seniors in the pits. Oh, what a disaster for Otto Acosta. That's going to be a drive-through. He just can't shake the black curse right now. He's going to keep him in and around the points, maybe, but oh, that's such a shame. We wanted to see a great result from OWTO today. He's going to have a lot of work to catch that back up. Montero leads. Corey Mackey is in P2. .8 is the gap because Mackey was caught fighting with Acosta. That fight now is over. We'll see if Acosta does the penalty right away or whether he waits a couple laps. It really doesn't matter. Mackey is in the pits. Okay. So Mackey didn't go very long on these tires. He's clearly using those mediums up. Mills puts up the fastest lap of the race. No great surprise there. Fisher is now into P2. So Mills has come out behind Fisher. But with the other drivers pitting, Mills won't lose too much time here. You see he's pulled out some time from Riera, which he needs to do because Riera, of course, is on the soft tires. Oh, now it says that Riera, is on the mediums. So R Factor does it again. Manages to trick me. As we see, this will be Mackey and Acosta fighting again. Now, Mackey will know. Yeah, Mackey will know that Acosta has a penalty. He doesn't need to do this. He doesn't need to do this. He will have got the note that there's a penalty, I believe, for Acosta. Because the server tells everybody. I believe. I might be wrong on this one, but I believe that when there was a jump start, I was aware of the jump start. Actually, no, I think I'm completely wrong. Ignore what I've been saying for the last 30 seconds. I don't believe Mackey will know that Acosta has a penalty. So Acosta's going to have to come in and serve that penalty and get out of the way, which will be great news for Corey Mackey. Now, Acosta here, he's behind Cooper. If they're talking on the mics, Cooper will know he has a penalty. If not, Cooper's slowing down to let him pass. Okay, there goes Acosta. Into the pits to serve that speeding in the pit lane penalty. We know that that's what it is. You can see how slow he's going this time into the pits. He's not making that mistake again. Lalansette's in the pits. So, Acosta will still be in the points then, technically. If Lalancette is just pitting right now, because he was already in the points. Fisher's still up there in P3. He's still going round too on the hards, on mediums, sorry. So the two McLarens still going around on the mediums. Cooper going round as well. So those guys yet to pit. So this is the battle for 6, 7, and 8. Of course, not really a true battle, though. This is what we call a fake fight. This is a Conor McGregor fight. Let's see. Cooper. Can he pass Arrego? Or will Mackey get in the way? Trying to recover himself. Mackey put the hards on. So Mackey's going well, is he going one stop? Because his wear was not great. I don't think he is going to go one stop here. I think Mackey's just hard on his tires and needs to use those hards to make the two stop work. Here goes Cooper with Mackey right behind. Cooper gonna stick his nose in. Great driving there from Orego, who gets then out of the way of Mackie, and that's how you lose 2 places in 2 corners, and then Orego dives into the pits. So then he gains the positions back. He overtakes them right now on the track. Then he'll lose them in the pits again. Rabi's... Oh! Both McLarens are in the pit at the same time! Oh no! Is this by design? Will this affect them? Will Rabi get out of the pits before Orego comes around? They're double stacking at McLaren. Sanabria is in the pits too. I would love to see what's going on in the McLaren pits. Did they get away with it? Let's see. Montero's still out there. Montero, I'm pretty sure, is going to commit to that one-stop strategy. Mackie coming back through. This is... So Mackie... He's not really racing anybody here today. He's racing Cooper right now, of course, but he should be able to beat that. He's on the hards, so it is still impressive that he's catching. There's been some great action here so far today, all throughout the field. So the 2 McLarens came out 9th and 10th, still back-to-back next to each other. Lalanset overtook them both because he got the undercut. We have, this is Montero now in the pits. So Montero, 19 laps on the mediums. That feels like a one-stopper to me. Put those hard tires on, go to the end for Montero. And the other 2 are going to do a 2-stop. So this feels like advantage Zeke. How far behind will he be? So we try and catch up here on the stream. Lots of people on the live stream saying, let's go Mills, let's go Mills. Here goes Mackie up the inside of Cooper. 2 very experienced sim racers. So we're going to catch up the stream. I think Mills has got so many fans in the world. Well, at least 3. 3 more than I have. 3 more than Janos has. I'm sure. If not, please, comment if you're a fan. Let's get a fan base going here. We will see what's going to happen with these strategies. Riera has finally started to catch up to Mills a bit more. He's still not in DRS zone. Now, of course, they are still on the mediums, both of them. That was a mistake of our factor, getting me all excited thinking that Riera was on the softs. Mills just looks like he has the pace to hold off Riera here today. We are on board with Rabi catching Bill Worrell and recovering Bill Worrell. Rabi, fresh tires. Look at how much grip he has. Look at how much grip he has. Having to even lift off, making sure he doesn't run into the back of that Visa car. Up the inside. Worrell won't defend that one. He knows that no chance is going to hold Aaron Rabi back in the current strategies. So only Oppenheim is a lap down. He's 2 laps down. Everybody else is still on the lead lap. Traffic will start to be a factor, but everybody's quite spread out. There's kind of pockets going on. There's good fights throughout the field. It's really difficult to kind of see. This is Sanabria and Senior. Senior! Not going to let that one go. Sanabria doesn't need more contact on that car. That car's already bent. And here it goes, Acosta around the outside, pulling a Hamilton. Acosta's recovering. He's on the hards. He's going to try and go as long as he can. I don't think he can go to the end. But he's recovering. He's now going to be behind Senior. We'll see whether he can be patient enough. Oh! Montero put the softs on. Well, I have no idea what Ezekiel Montero is trying to do now. That's a surprise. I don't get surprised very often, but when you go 20 laps on the mediums with 30 laps to go and you could put the hards on and try and do a one-stop, it's very surprising to me that Montero has opted to do a two-stop. He's going to go softs, so he's just going to bank on his pace alone. I mean, listen, it might work out. It's just surprising. P14. Sanabria chasing Senior still. Senior still, he's sticking in there and he's racing wheel to wheel with these guys for the points. His pace has really improved. Ricardo Senior, he got lucky at the start, but he's not been dropping back like at a huge rate. He's just kind of been maybe losing a place every 5 laps or so. We still have Darren Fisher going round on his immediate tires, and he's in P3. So Fisher's going one stop. I said it before with Montero, so I might be wrong, but I know Darren Fisher quite well. This is a one stop from Darren Fisher. And of course, this means that he's going to stop one more time. Montero's going to stop one more time. So this is a race on track. Here goes Fisher, stopping at the perfect time because Montero was about to overtake him, which means he would have lost some time. And he managed to go 22 laps on those mediums. I think Darren Fisher will be really, really happy with that first stint. We're going to keep an eye on Montero's pace. It's a very interesting strategy from Zeke Montero. More guys in the pit. Cooper also is in the pit, so Cooper hadn't pitted as well. So Fisher and Cooper, old rivals, old championship fighting rivals from back in the day, USF1 days. They are both in the pits together, both on the same strategy. Worrell's also in the pit, so it feels like everybody now has pitted, and this is pretty much how much the tires will go. Now, a name we haven't talked about for a while is Richard Walcott. And the reason is he's down 6 spots, down in 15th place, hasn't been able to do anything, but he's kind of caught up the pack now. So Walcott's kind of caught up to Senior, Sanabria, Worrell. Walcott has to go one stop because otherwise he's going to need to catch up a full pit stop. Oppenheim is out of the race, so he's called it a day. Mackie 4, Fisher 5 on the hards, but Fisher went so much longer than Mackie did on those tires that I don't think Mackie can do a one-stop. I think Fisher can. 30 laps remaining. Maybe it would have been too optimistic for Montero to do a one-stop. Maybe I misjudged that one, but with the hardest C5 compound tires, it feels like it might have been possible. And now he has to catch up 11 seconds, catch and pass. He's going to have better tires this stint. We don't know if he'll have better tires next stint because Mills Riera could put the softs on again. They've ran soft medium. They could do either or, really, yeah. Mills and Riera could go softs again. They could go medium. Softs is more, obviously, optimistic. We will have to see. The 2025 podium last year was Riera, Mills, and Walcott. Riera and Mills, I like the chances. Walcott, not so much. Perhaps his teammate, Corey Mackey here today in P4, might get Williams back on that third spot of the podium. But I don't think it'll be Walcott. Walcott has pitted. He's going to put the hards on and go to the end, unless he was already on the hards, in which case he'll put the medium. Well, then he wouldn't be able to go to the end. So hopefully Walcott can put the hards on here and go to the end. I think Walcott might be on for a point here today, maybe 2. Especially with Acosta's penalty, that hurt him. But other than that, unfortunately, just going to be too far back. There just hasn't been enough chaos here today. And I think that a lot of drivers have got a lot of pace. Fisher's got pace. Lalan Set, Rabi, Cooper, Acosta, Rego. These drivers all have pace. Sanabria has pace. He just has a damaged car. Same thing. So with Sturgio, he's come back through the field in 11th place. And you can tell how competitive Sim Racing Hub is, ladies and gentlemen, because Bill Worrell came 4th last round. And he's 14th, 70 seconds behind the leader in this round. And struggled in qualifying. It's just, that's how competitive it can be. That is the difference between a 4th place finish and what's looking like a 14th or 15th place finish. Riera not really able to catch Mills. He's still not quite in that DRS zone. Needs to get within the 1 second gap. The magic 1 second gap. Where the letterbox opens. There it is. 9/10 of a second. Interesting, though, that Riera didn't get the DRS because he must have done it after the detection point. Maybe Mills made a bit of a mistake there. He dropped about half a second all of a sudden. Very interesting that he is dropping back quite quickly here. Maybe he didn't have any boost or he made an error, but all of a sudden, it's race on. So good around that last little bit of the track. We saw that Mills in qualifying, his first sector left a lot to be desired, but the last sector was so good. Montero is catching slightly, not enough to really be a factor right now. And Mackie is still 12 seconds as well behind him. Fisher's 10 seconds behind him. And then you have the next fight, which is Lalancet. We're looking now at the 11th. My favorite position fight. Sanabria wants to be one position away from being a position away. See, now Mills has pulled back out from Riera. Very interesting. Back and forth, these two drivers. It looks like Riera is maybe a quick around this part of the track. Yeah, you can see that 1:30.000 was Mills' last lap. Riera definitely does catch up round the Beckett's Maggot chicane, but he doesn't get the DRS because the detection zone is before that point. Yeah, Montero unable to catch these two up right now. Mackie unable to. He's falling back. Corey Mackie is falling back. And, you know, Montero's going to have the soft, so Mackie's not going to be a challenge for Montero. Here goes Sanabria just taking a little look for Sergio for that P11. It's the best position, P11, because it's the position of eternal hope. Here we go. Will we see a crazy pass? Oh, they almost touched there. He's lining up for a pass at Cops. That's not going to work. He's going to tuck right in behind him. Only way that will work is if you've got more boost than the driver in front. You see difference in how guys go through the gears through that section. It's a good section to kind of lift and coast to save some battery. Here we go. Sanabria. And it looks like Sergio let him have that one. Let him have the P11. So now you're one away. Oh, and that's why. That is why. I wondered why Sotiris would just give that gift of a position. Well, it's because he was going to pit. So he thought, you know what? Doesn't matter. These things are very, very important. When to pit. Right? Do you have the gap? Do you have a 25-second gap? Here is literally a lot less. It's probably closer to 21, 20 seconds because of the missing that final two turns here. This whole section you skip out. And even into turn 1, you skip the inside. So, one stop, not usually the best way to go here, but Fisher's looking pretty handy in P5. Cooper's looking pretty handy in P7. Those last points position, I was just about to say it was Alpine and McLaren, but Rabi then went into... Rabi's out! I thought he went into the pits, but he's out of the race. What has happened again to Aaron Rabi? Electrical problems last time out. Hopefully... Oh, no! A mistake. Oh, and he just decided to call it a day. He probably wouldn't have come back and got any points, but you would have thought that he would have at least come back to the pit lane to give it a go. So Sanabria, that's why you love P11, ladies and gentlemen! Because Sanabria's already up into P10, which means Worrell is in to P11. So Worrell is one position away. Senior, my favorite P11 guru, is one position away from being a position away. One mistake, we did say it earlier, if you make a mistake at Silverstone, you usually end up in the wall. The grass does not help slow you down at all. There is no grip on the grass. So unless you're in a runoff area, and even then you're just moving so quickly, you just can't catch it. Lalancet right now is up 10 spots to P6. Now, obviously, Cooper's going to pass him probably because of the pit stop strategy. Acosta gifted that to him. He's back up to 9th, so good recovery from Acosta. It's just interesting, those soft tires. One of these drivers is not the same as everybody else, and that's Montero in P3. Here's Walcott, looking for a pass on Cardozo. No problem. So Walcott will now look to pull away from Cardozo before Sotiris Sergio gets past him. This is mediums on hards. Cardozo's had a pretty solid drive, but hasn't really had the pace here today. Just filling in for Haas. Whoa! Wow. That looked like both drivers were a little bit unsure who was gonna back out. Here comes Sergio on the inside of Beckett's. Oh no! Right in front of the leaders. Oh, and here's Riera. He's gonna be all over Mills now. They didn't get out of the way. Whoa! The blue flag's almost ruining it. Mills might get away with this. Sergio. I don't know if they didn't see it coming. I didn't see them coming. That almost was a disaster for Mills. If he can clear the Haas of Cardozo, he might get away with it. Cardozo gets out of the way. Wow, Josh Mills. Oh! Now we're side by side, Cardozo and Sotiris. That was ugly. That's not how you let the drivers in front get by. And you can see it cost Cardozo a spot to Sergio, and it almost cost Mills the lead of the race. Luckily, it only cost him about 0.2 of a second. Now, it has given Riera the DRS, which will, of course, frustrate Josh, but Josh is a guy who keeps a cool head in these situations. I know we've heard rumors of Riera Montero screaming, blue flag, blue flag, blue flag on the radio before. I'm sure Mills was saying the same thing. Well, that could have been a lot worse for championship leader Josh Mills. Riera would have taken that opportunity for sure, because Riera hasn't even been able to get alongside Mills at any point. We see how fast Riera is through Beckett's. This is his best chance, is to get that DRS through Beckett's. But look at the straight line speed of Mills. I don't think Riera's car is going to be able to pass Mills here today. I just don't see it. I think where he's quicker, it is a good place to overtake going into Stowe, but it just doesn't seem to have the straight line speed to do it. Maybe traffic will be his best opportunity. Big sigh of relief for all the Josh Mills fans out there, as that could have been really ugly. And look at Sotiris Sergio all over the back of Riera. So ever since these guys lapped Sergio, they haven't been able to pull away. Now Sergio would be allowed to unlap himself, but unlapping Argenis Riera when he's fighting for the lead of the race, that's not even sure if I'm that bold. That's a bold move. You don't pick fights with guys that are faster than you. Learned that day one racing. If you're the faster guy, you can pick the fight. Not a good idea to pick a fight with Argenis Riera. So we are on lap 30 of 52. Past the halfway point in this race. A lot of guys on the hard tires, a lot of guys lowing long, which is kind of a Silverstone MO. You got Montero on the soft tires. Now, how much time did Montero gain on these guys? Because they're fighting. Oh, Argenis Riera pits. And he's going to get the undercut on Mills. Oh, this is going to get spicy. This is going to get spicy. Okay, Riera will have to put the mediums on. He's going to have to go 21 laps on those mediums. That's quite a long way. He won't go with the hards, I don't think. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. A Silverstone undercut from Argenis Riera. Surely that's going to give him the lead of this race. This is crucial. Now, Mills will pit, you would think. He has no choice. And look at the clean air that Argenis Riera has come into. Has he just pulled an absolute stellar strategy here? I don't think any of us saw it coming. It was earlier than anticipated. And Mills stopped first last time. Riera went as many laps on the medium as he did on the soft. This is all about getting the undercut and the strategy. Mills will be pushing every ounce of boost on this lap, trying to just get the car around one more time before he pits. Or will Mills go a lot longer? You can see him moving out of the way. He's coming up behind. I think that's Walcott. He's coming to lap. I don't think Walcott will get in the way. Walcott's got a lot of experience. He's pretty quick. Here goes Josh Mills. I think that Riera caught Mills off guard. Will this be where the race is decided? Will Mills? Because then Mills is going to have... Oh, this is fantastic for Riera because he's forced Mills now into Riera's strategy, which means that if Riera can get track position, Mills will only have the benefit of one lap fresher tyres. This is for the lead of the Silverstone Grand Prix. Wow! Mills got on the power. He almost put it in the wall. Here goes Riera. And Mills is going to hold him off. How has Josh Mills pulled that one off? Here we go. He needs to hold him off for 2 more corners down the Wellington Straight. This is Riera's chance. Can he get close enough to do a dive? That would be demoralizing for Argenis Riera. To have Josh Mills come out right in front of him. Riera's going to go for a lunge at the inside. Mills is going to give him his face down. The crash. Riera takes out Josh Mills. That was a bold move from Argenis Riera. And Riera's going to need to let Mills back past. That was not a clean overtake. There is a penalty coming for Riera. Pretty sure about that one because that seemed like a late lunge to me. Will Riera slow down to let Josh Mills catch up and try and go again? The problem is, if he does that, I generally don't think that Argenis Riera can overtake Josh Mills here today. I don't think that car has the straight line ability to do it. We will watch so many replays here of this incident, we hope. It looked to me like a late lunge. Yeah, and Riera slid. Oh yeah, that is 100% Argenis Riera, unfortunately. I know there was no intent there, but you've got to slow down and let him back past. Otherwise, there could be a time penalty coming for Riera, and Mills could end up winning this race. He's going to feel robbed. Mackie jumped into second during this situation. Mackie's going to have to pit again. But he's going to be a nuisance for Mills because he's on the hard tyres. It's such a shame to end that way. This feels like this could impact the championship. It looked to me like a desperation lunge from Riera. I think he couldn't believe that Mills managed to pull a miracle and hold him off on the undercut. Mills almost put it in the wall coming out of the pits to get on the power. I'm assuming he used every ounce of battery he had. Riera saw an opportunity to get alongside him, thought he had to take it. But unfortunately, Riera slid into the side of Mills, effectively taking him out of the race. So, very, very disappointing. Of course, Mackie would have loved for them to take each other completely out of the race. So would Montero. Now, where is Montero? We need to see what's going to happen here. Mackie can't go to the end of the race. I'm not buying this Mackie might win the race story right now. He didn't go long enough on the medium tires. There's no way this guy can go to the end on the hard tires. He's done it before in the past, but not typically if he's shown that he's hard on the tires in the first stint. You can't just decide all of a sudden to just go to the end. So here's Mills now on Mackie. He needs to pass him. And then Mills is going to have to... Oh, he's going to have to catch up 4 seconds to Riera, which is an almost impossible feat. You know what is interesting, though? So Montero is only a couple seconds behind Mills. Did Montero pit again? Maybe we missed that. So Montero must have pitted again because we must have missed that. Otherwise he would have been ahead. Here we go. Corey Mackey filling in for Josh Mills. Look at the speed from Corey Mackey on the straight. Wow, and a dirty air penalty for Mills. Oh, but Mackey's not in the boost coming through that section. Mackey's harvesting and regenerating. As is probably Mills through that point. Now Mills is going to get in the power. This should be interesting. Here goes Josh Mills. Mackey always loves a fight. Always loves a fight. Mackey doesn't love the fight. Oh, disappointing there from the Maxter. We have Janos Marcusrevi messaging here saying that Mackey's going to go one stop with the hards. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I generally don't think he can. If he can, congratulations to him. All credit where credit's due. I mean, he needs to pit sooner or later if he's not going to, because Fisher he needs to be racing Fisher, Corey Mackey. Montero is in third. Yes, Montero did pit because he's got the mediums on now, so that's what we missed. So Montero now pitted. He's on the mediums just like the front guys. So Montero is racing these guys. You can see he's now catching up to Mackey. What happened here? Riera slowed right down. Whoa, hang on. Riera dropped right off. He's going to let Mackey back past. Mills. He's going to let Mills pass, surely. Yep, there it is. Argenis Riera, tactically, a very interesting move to let Mills back by. What? There's a lot to talk about here. I can't believe that he would do that after the fact. Does that mean that you don't get a penalty? He didn't let him back right away. He let him back because he could. I don't know. It's a strange one. It's obviously what we want to see. We want to see this battle rightly restored, which it has been. So all credit to Argenis Riera for doing that. But I still think you should do it right away. I don't think you should wait until, it kind of works out now, as here goes Montero on Mackey. Oh, Montero just going for a bold move. Doesn't need to do anything too bold on Corey Mackey here. If Mackey is trying to go to the end, he's a non-factor in this race. Is he? Oh, and Mackey and commentator curse, a non-factor. He slides off to the inside. And those tires aren't going to go to the end, guys. It's just not going to happen. Here goes Riera. Now, Riera is close to Mills this time. And Riera, we know, is faster than Mills through Beckett's. We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2. We still have all 16 cars running. Walcott's up to 11th, so he's almost into the points. But here goes Riera. Now, let's see how much faster he is. Look at Mills is saving and harvesting through this section. Oh, Riera couldn't get the Beckett's done. Now Montero's going to be right behind these guys because... because Riera took out Mills and then had to slow and wait for Mills. Advantage Zeke Montero. Montero's probably like, what are they doing? I can win this race. He was my bet to start the race. I think Montero's got a genuine shot here of winning. His tires are only a little bit less older than the front two. But, you know, Mills and Argenis have damage. Riera, so Montero could win this race. Mackey and Fisher. Mackey's going to try and, I guess, keep going round. Lalensette's going to pit. He's in the pits now, so he's then going to go to the end. Will Cooper jump back over Lansett? Maybe Acosta. This is going to get interesting. Can Montero catch up the front two? I genuinely don't think Argenis Riera's Aston Martin has the ability to overtake Josh Mills' Red Bull without a mistake here today. We know he's quick through that section, but you just can't get close enough to Mills, and Mills just isn't making mistakes. The only reason that, obviously, you know, it took him an undercut, came out of the pits. Mills was on cold tires. Riera had a whole lap on fresh tires, and still only managed to get somewhat side by side for a launch. I don't see it. What'd be interesting is, does Montero have an ability to catch and pass Riera? Mackie is in the pits. Will Shocker, ladies and gentlemen. I wasn't buying that for a second. There's no way that he was going to go to the end on those hards. It just wasn't going to happen. So Mackie's going to pit, which is going to mean Fisher's going to jump over him, and by quite some margin. In which case now Mackie's going to try and catch that back up by going 13 laps on a softs. He'll be super quick. So I would still put my bet on Mackie finishing P4. Will he come out ahead of Cooper? He does. Acosta's in the pits. Hopefully for the last time here today. Will he stay in the points? We see a lot more guys putting the softs on now. Will Acosta stay ahead of guys like Walcott, who Walcott's going to the end on hards? Sanabria, we'll keep an eye on this one. It looks like he might. Okay, he's fallen behind Orrego and Sanabria, but there was a 9-second gap to Walcott. So Acosta's fit in right in that gap, I believe, between Orrego and Walcott for P10. And he's going to have fresher tires than Walcott, obviously, and going to be very difficult to catch and pass. Senior's in the pits. I just want to go back to the incident. I'm a firm believer in sim racing. Not, you know, real life racing doesn't work this way a lot of the time. One of the few times I think was the Lewis Hamilton, Kimi Räikkönen Spa incident where Hamilton let Räikkönen back past and he didn't let him pass long enough and it got messy. This just has a little bit of an asterisk. It's an 8 out of 10 from Riera. You know, he took out Mills. He knows it was his fault. We all know that. And he let him back by. Awesome. But he didn't do it right away. He waited until Mills overtook other drivers and until it was more convenient for Riera. So, at the end of the day, no harm, no foul. I don't think Mills would have to protest the incident, which I don't think he will do now. So he'll get away with it. But it's a risky strategy for Martinez Riera to go and wait that long. Still, would rather see that than just motoring along like like you didn't do anything. I never hit anybody. Complaining on the radio. Riera did get close there, 3/10 behind. I don't know where he's going to overtake Mills. And of course, his tires are 1 lap less fresh than Mills. They're all in the same compound. They're all going to the end. This is a championship fight right here, though. If Mills can hold off Riera and win back-to-back races and extend his lead in the championship, then Josh Mills has to become the odds-on favorite to be champion this year. I think the bookmakers, not many bookmakers betting on Sim Racing Hub, but the bookmakers right now, I believe, would still have Argenis Riera as the favorite to win the championship. But I think this could be a turning point. Can Riera overtake Josh Mills on pure pace alone? Corey Mackey puts up the best time, and no shocks there on those soft tires. He will be catching Fisher at a rate of knots. I don't think Fisher's going to have any defense on that one. Oh, there's traffic coming up. Traffic is the only thing that can really get into the way of Mills' race here. So we have 12 laps remaining. 11 laps remaining at the end of this one. Mills is right behind the traffic. Easily move out of the way. That'll be Bill Worrell because he's the only remaining... Oh! I jinxed it. He didn't get out of the way of Riera. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here comes Montero. That is what usually happens with backmarkers. Every commentator that I've ever met will always say, hey, maybe the guy in second will get an advantage when traffic comes. No, usually the guy in first has an advantage because the guy that is getting overtaken doesn't necessarily pay attention that there's more than one car coming. He sees one car coming, then he looks in front, he forgets about the second car. Here comes Acosta on Orego. Orego's going to the middle. That's a strange defense. Acosta around the outside. Still side by side. Acosta on the hards, Orego on the mediums. And Orego, oh, unfortunately, looks like he got on the marbles. Clean pass there from Acosta. Orego still having a good race down in 9th place, getting 2 points for his troubles. Sanabria's in the pits. Now that will give Walcott 1 point. The first of 1 point for him today, for the first of one Bermudans. Both Williams is now in the points, with Mackie scoring solid points in P5. We have plugged in the computer, ladies and gentlemen. We're good to go to the end. Just a dash of fuel. Fisher's in the pits. That one is interesting, probably just because he knows he can't beat Corey Mackey. So he may as well come in and get the softer tires, because he's now racing Cooper. Probably has a big enough gap to get out in front of Cooper. I think Fisher could have gone to the end, but chose not to. Doesn't need to. If he's got a free stop, you may as well come in, get the fresh tires on. No reason why not. So Josh Mills, 1 second ahead of Riera. Riera has held off Montero. This looks like this is how it's going to finish, which is actually... We haven't had a lot of Mills, Riera, Montero podiums this year. There's always been one of them, usually Montero, that hasn't managed to pull it off. You can see the gap there to Mackey. Never really with a chance here today. Just too much tyre wear on that Williams. 10 laps to go. Last 5 winners of this race. Riera, Magus Revi in 2022. And Riera, can you... Janos Magus Revi with a 2022 victory. Wow. Congratulations to him on the cameras there. Need to get Janos back on the circuit. Pole and a victory for Janos Magus Revi back in 2022. Every other year has been Argenis Riera. But this year, Josh Mills has taken another step forward. It didn't happen right away. He didn't just have that amazing electric pace all the time. But he worked on the car, kept building it, put in the work, put in the laps, put in solid performance after performance. And all of a sudden, Josh Mills is looking like he might be a little bit tough to beat to the championship this year. Lalanset catching up Cooper. Cooper's tires, will not be a fresh chicken. Chicken's a couple days old now. P6, and he's surrounded by guys on soft tires and also Acosta on mediums too. But he's going to be a long way back. So I think Cooper, really, this is a fight for 6-7. 6-7, 6-7. Yes! Got it in there. Thank you. Mic drop. I'm cool. Either way, I think whichever one doesn't finish 6th will finish 7th. Cooper, is he going to defend this one even? Will he defend this one? Ah, no, Cooper! You can't do that. Cooper. That was a late move from Glenn Cooper. I think he should be letting... Yeah, he needs to be letting Lalancette by here. I'm not sure what Cooper was doing. That was a mistake from the veteran driver. No harm, no foul. Lalancette didn't lose a wing, but he's going to have to give this place back. I tell you, Lalancette is a magnet to trouble. Some of it is created, but other times, like this has nothing to do with him. Maybe it's reputation, maybe it's just sheer bad luck, but recently, Lalancette has just been a magnet for trouble. I know it. I mean, first turn incident, no way that anybody plans a first turn incident at Austria. And then a pit lane incident. Harto, I think, backed up into him after being backed up into from Acosta. I generally don't think any driver knew each driver was there, so that has nothing to do with it. Cooper would have known Lalancette was coming. Cooper's trying to hold back a guy that is going to be near impossible to hold back. And that was a late move. You can't do that from Cooper. So he's going to get a penalty and have to give this place back. I would think Lalancette protests everything, so he's not going to let that fly. Now there's a bit of uncertainty. Now Cooper goes to the inside this time, defends. It's not going to give him a whole lot of space around the outside. Now Lalancette needs to be careful here not to hit Cooper. Cooper's defending. He needs to be a little bit cleaner on what move he's doing. Oh, and Lalancette might make the mistake. Listen, I'm all for defending a position. You defend a position, Lalancette over pushes the car, puts it into the wall, and then that's exactly what Cooper wants to happen right now. Lalancette has to be calm and cool enough to know that Cooper has zero chance of holding him back for the next 6 laps. Cooper's hoping for a mistake from Lalancette. Now Cooper all of a sudden has got interested. It's taken Lalancette a few turns. He's made a few mistakes. So Cooper now is thinking, hey, I can actually win this. But unfortunately, he's already done an illegal move, which was the block. So I think either way, if this finishes this way, Lalancette's going to protest Cooper, and then Cooper's going to lose his position because he's going to get a time penalty of 5 seconds. They won't lose any other position. So unfortunately, right now, it's just more of a question of whether Lalancette can keep his cool, realize that he's got this place in the bag. Even if he doesn't pass Cooper, I think the stewards will easily find a 5-second penalty to Cooper, so he doesn't really need to make a pass here. But the red mist of once you've been cut off once, twice, the red mist will come, and here comes Lalancette around the outside. Cooper will have no defense as predicted, and that will be no harm, no foul. Will Lalancette just protest it anyway? Probably. We'll see what happens, but either way, no harm, no foul. We move on. Lalancette P6, Cooper P7. Cooper's gonna try to make this interesting, but I don't see it coming unless there's a crazy launch coming here. He's got the tires are too old. Lalancette. Here goes Cooper. There's no chance. There's no way he's going to be able to make this pass, I don't think. Yeah, he's kind of doing a little bit of a weave, trying to get in Lalancette's head. JPL surely will see that coming. Like, JPL's going to know he's on the hards. He's going to have seen it when he caught him up and overtook him. So he should know now that this is over. So we're going to have Lalancette in P6. He's not going to catch Fisher. Fisher's on fresh tyres. Fisher's actually not far behind Mackie. We've got to keep an eye on that one, because he could overtake P4. We still have Mills, Riera, Montero in that order, all kind of even. That's kind of how it's been. All since the start, really. It's been Mills is faster than Riera just, and Riera's faster than Montero just. Yeah, Cooper's managing to keep in the DRS here, but I think we can move on and watch a different battle. Unless JPL's tyres drop off a cliff, which, you know, perhaps. Those hards won't. They do last forever. So we have Warhol and Kobo Cardozo. We will show this fight. We try and show every fight that we have. This is the closest fight we have on track. This one, obviously, we always keep an eye on. Make sure that Mills doesn't have to save fuel. or run out of battery or make some type of mistake like that. So Jacopo Cardozo in the Haas. He's catching up. Bill Worrell in the Racing Bull. He's going to have the DRS. Bill's going to go defensive. Why not? We're racing for position here. P12, he's not going to make it easy. Worrell doesn't. Cardozo with a bold move around the outside. What a pass that is from Jacopo. Will he then hold off Worrell? He will. That's a great, great, great move from Jacopo. It didn't look super easy. He's got fresher tires. So Jacopo is in one place away from being a place away from the points. Riera is still in striking distance of Mills. We have to keep an eye on this. Has Riera been saving something? Has he been saving some battery? Has he been saving some tires? He's going to put the pressure on Mills. He's going to make him earn it one more time. Mills has earned it 48 times so far. And he's going to make him earn it 3 or 4 more times around this track. 4 laps to go. 3.5 basically. Oh, Mills is definitely going to start feeling the pressure. There's also back markers coming up. But again, I tell you, I'm not buying the aspect of that it's going to help Riera. You can see he does close in on the straight. But he's... Oh, that was a wide. That looked a little voluntary from Riera. Okay, yeah, you go. Getting way out of the way there. Great work from, that was Mitsalis. I believe, not wanting anything to do with this fight. Smart. Still 16 drivers running round. And you can see Walcott, I mean, he had the first turn incident. He would have had a long stop fixing damage. Only good to get to P10 so far. That shows the quality of the field here. Alpine in 7 and 8, Cooper and Acosta. We have Riera again. We know a lunge into here is not going to work. We've tried that already. I have said all along that I don't think Riera has the ability in this car to overtake Josh Mills straight up for speed. Maybe he's been saving a little bit of something. Maybe he can. How much boost does Mills have? Mills knows this is where Riera is the fastest. This is where Riera has his best chance going into Stowe. So Mills will have learnt that. You can see it's not as big of a gain as it was at the start of the race, because Mills has probably learned and adapted to Riera's strength, which is through the Beckett's complex. I just don't see it happening, but we're going to have another 2 laps to go. Another couple tries for Riera. Continue to put the pressure on. We're going to continue to put the pressure on here. Can he force a mistake from a guy who's been pretty bulletproof so far? Montero's backed right off. Fisher is he? No, he's not behind Mackie. Sorry, he's 20 seconds behind Mackie. I was misreading the timing screen. Lalancette, though, is 9 behind Fisher. Cooper's still within a second of Lalancette, so maybe we'll have another go. We're going to keep watching this fight right up until the end. Lalancette and Cooper. Here is the fight. So Cooper is trying to make me eat my words here. Maybe Lalancette's tires have gone. This is surprising that Cooper, at the end of the life on the hard tires, can race with Lalancette, a guy who I thought was quicker than him straight up for pace. Cooper is just such a talented driver. He can race wheel-to-wheel combat. He's a great defender. Today, let's put it down to rust. He's missed a few races. Usually, Cooper would make a cleaner defensive move than that. I wouldn't want Glenn Cooper getting anywhere near the side of me. Riera has dropped out of DRS. We're going to keep an eye on this Cooper battle because Riera has dropped out of DRS, and I genuinely don't think, I'm going to say it one last time, I don't think the Aston Martin has got what it takes to overtake that Red Bull of Mills today. Lalenset coming under pressure from Cooper. Cooper's still staying in the DRS zone just. This is soft tyres against hard tyres. Unless Lalenset's tyres drop off a cliff, I don't see it happening. It'd be a crazy move from Cooper, and he's not going to throw away P7. Especially because we saw that Cooper's championship standings is actually doing quite well. Does Cooper have a chance of passing around this first part of the track? You can actually pass sometimes around this section, but quite rare. Now here is Riera. He's going to give it another go. He closes in 0.4 of a second. He needs a mistake from Mills. He just needs one mistake. Just a little wiggle. It's all it will take. We got one more time around the track at Silverstone. One more go. Mills has got it all under control. Cooper is 0.2 behind Lalenset. Oh, we have a race here, ladies and gentlemen. I was right about Riera, but I was wrong about Cooper. Cooper's weaving, trying to put him off. He took the complete wrong line round Cops. He just needs to stay focused on his own race here. Now Cooper's going to be racing from a cockpit view. He has a really good setup. Maybe visibility there. He couldn't see the apex. That can happen when you're right behind a car. Maybe he was weaving to try and get visibility and viewpoint of the apex. Unfortunately, that's going to put him at a hindrance for this lap. He's going to have another lap, though, and it looks like JP's tyres are gone. So now advantage Cooper. Riera. He's 0.6 behind Mills. I don't see it happening. I don't think the Williams is going to get in the way. I think that's it. Josh Mills is going to have enough to hold off Argenis Riera for 52 laps, because that's what he's done here today. He held off an undercut. He held off a punt. And still, he manages to come through to win at Silverstone. And Josh Mills is going to extend his championship lead in the 2026 World Championship. Mills wins at Silverstone. Here we go! Cooper got by Lalenset. Wow. Glenn Cooper making me eat my words. We're going to have to take a look at that replay and find out what happened. Will Lalenset protest him and try and get the place back from the 5-point penalty, because Cooper did block him? Hopefully not, because that feels like it was a while ago. Feels like that was neutralized, and now Cooper just had more straight line speed than Lalenset. Oh, Lalenset, he gave up the inside. Oh, he made the mistake. Lalenset outbroke himself, and that's how he did it. JP can't be mad at Glenn for that one. That was a mistake from Lalenset, and he will hold him off right the way through here, all the way to the end of the race. So Montero comes third, Mackie fourth, Fisher fifth, Cooper sixth, Lalenset seventh, Acosta recovers to eighth, Arago ninth. Great drive from him, quiet drive but solid 2 points, and Walker comes through, grabs himself a point for his efforts in P10. Sanabria finishes in my favourite spot. Why is the marshal waving the slippy surface flag? I'm not too sure. I'm not sure about that one. Cardozo 12, Sergio 13. Senior drops all the way back down to 14th after his good start. Worrell 15th. Very disappointing for him. Mitsales finishes 2 laps down, but still finishes in the Haas. 16 drivers finish. Rabe, Oppenheim, Kovacic, and Higgins all failing to finish. So Josh Mills wins a cracker of a race. All these drivers on the same lap. Montero really very uneventful race in P3. Mackie, best of the rest in P4. Obviously had that grid spot penalty to get away with to start the year. We'll see whether he's going to be back in the Williams next time or whether Walcott and Harto will re-team up. Fisher P5, his teammate down in P20. Cooper 6, Acosta 8, good points for Alpine. JPL, as we saw, P7. Got blocked one time, but great fight between him and Cooper other than that. Arago gets 2 points for McLaren after Arabi's unfortunate loss. And Walcott steals 1 more point for Williams. Sanabria Cardozo, Sturgio disappointing down in 13th. Senior, Worrell, Nitsalis, and then we have Rabi, Oppenheim, Kovacic, and Higgins all not finishing the race. But you can see, ladies and gentlemen, 1 lap, and if you're more than 1 lap behind, you're in last at Sim Racing Hub. That's the talent level that we have here today. So, we will then head on to Spa. There's no summer break for us. We'll be back in 2 weeks' time at Spa-Francorchamps in the 23rd of July for what will be another fantastic race. Always a good race at Sim Racing Hub at Spa. As we go into the second half of the calendar, take care from Silverstone. Thank you all for watching. We will see you in 2 weeks' time.